The Illusion of Us. Beginnings and Blind Spots. I met Ava during my final year at university. She was a transfer student in my advanced design seminar, an effortlessly cool girl with dyed silver hair, oversized sweaters, and a voice that never seemed to rush. She always carried a sketchbook, even in classes that didn't require one. When she laughed, people turned their heads. She noticed me before I noticed her. Or so she claimed. "You always sit like you're afraid of taking up space," she said after class one day. "But your designs? Loud, confident." That contradiction kind of fascinating. I was taken aback. I hadn't thought much of myself. Average grades, average clothes, average life. Ava made me feel like I was more than that. We started talking, then messaging, then spending entire nights wandering the city, sharing thoughts, stories, ideas. I was studying architecture. She was in visual arts. We bonded over our loathing for small talk and our obsession with imperfections, how cracks and walls told better stories than polished facades. Ava was magnetic. She made you feel like the only person in the room. Her presence was loud in a quiet way. And somehow, she always seemed a step ahead of everyone else, like she saw where things were going before they happened. It didn't take long before we were together. Everyone around us called it a perfect match, the quiet planner and the chaotic artist. She moved into my apartment before the semester ended. My place turned from minimal and sterile to chaotic and full of life. Paints on the counter, coffee cups on the windowsill, Polaroids taped to the fridge. We made art together. We made playlists. We made promises. I loved her. I truly did. She made me feel seen. But even from the start, there were signs. She changed her phone password often. She never let me touch her sketchbooks when she wasn't around. She once flinched when I jokingly asked if I was her only muse. "I don't believe in ownership," she said. "Love should be free." I nodded, because I didn't want to seem insecure. But I wasn't free. I was falling deeper. One night, we were lying in bed. She traced a circle on my chest with her finger. "Do you think we'll last?" she asked. "I hope so," I said. "Do you?" She didn't answer. She kissed me instead. I took that as enough. Part 2. Cracks in the Canvas. After graduation, Ava got a residency at a well-known art studio downtown. It was competitive, prestigious, and way too cool for the rest of us. She didn't act surprised when she got the offer. It was like she always expected the world to bend in her direction, and it usually did. I, on the other hand, was stuck working freelance gigs and hustling architectural renderings for small firms. Long nights, tight deadlines, less passion, more survival. Ava said she understood. "You're building foundations. I'm floating for a while. We'll meet in the middle." But the more she floated, the less I saw of her. At first, I figured she was just busy. The residency demanded a lot: collabs, late sessions, gallery meetings. But over time, I started noticing things that didn't add up. She stopped coming home some nights. She smelled like cologne I didn't use. She took long showers with the door locked. And once, I found a sketch of a man I didn't recognize in her notebook. She had shaded his face with obsessive detail. His name, scribbled underneath, Luca. I asked her who he was. "Just someone I drew at a cafe," she said, not looking up. "But why is there a lipstick mark on the corner of the page?" She didn't answer. She just tore out the sheet, crumpled it, and tossed it into the bin. "You don't trust me?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. I should have said, "No, not anymore." But I didn't. I apologized. Things got worse after that. She became defensive, short-tempered, distant. Sometimes, during arguments, she'd twist everything I said, make me feel like I was the one being irrational, the one holding her back. "You've become boring," she said once. "Safe. Predictable. Like one of your stupid blueprint models." That one hurt. Still, I stayed. Maybe I was addicted to the idea of her. Or maybe I thought if I held on long enough, I could bring her back to who she used to be, or who I thought she was. Then came the exhibition. Her studio was hosting an end-of-season showcase. She invited me, but not like you'd invite a partner. It felt more like an obligation. "You can come if you want," she said. "But please don't be weird." I laughed it off. I shouldn't have gone. The gallery was full, too full. I didn't belong there. Everyone was in silk or leather, speaking in metaphors and sipping overpriced wine. I walked past one piece, then another. Then I saw it. A series of oil paintings titled The House of Echoes. It was our apartment, our couch, our dishes, our bed. But the man in the painting wasn't me. He was taller, sharper, with tattoos across his back. His hands were on Ava's waist. Her face was turned to him in every frame. I stood there for what felt like hours. Nobody noticed me. Or maybe they did and just didn't care. And then I heard someone behind me laugh. "Can't believe she showed that one," a woman said. "Didn't her boyfriend help her pay rent during that phase?" I left. Ava didn't come home that night, or the night after. 2 days later, I got a message from her. "Don't hate me. I never meant to hurt you." But I couldn't lie anymore. That was it. She had ghosted me while painting the story of our slow death and showcasing it like art. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was public, monetized, framed and hung like a trophy. I wanted to scream, to burn her canvases, to show the world what she'd done. But I didn't. I packed her things into boxes, left them by the studio door, and changed the locks. I didn't speak to her again. Part 3. The Quiet Undoing. The weeks after Ava left were slow and strangely hollow. I went through the motions: client meetings, late-night edits, phone calls with my mother where I pretended everything was fine. Inside, I was unraveling. I started avoiding places we used to go. The coffee shop on 9th. The bookstore with the crooked floorboards. The bench in the park where she once fell asleep on my shoulder. Each spot held echoes I wasn't ready to confront. And yet, her presence was everywhere. In my playlists. In the mug she left behind. In the half-finished mural she'd painted on the inside of the pantry door. It was a surreal swirl of blue and orange, abstract but oddly comforting. I never painted over it. I couldn't. At first, I searched her name online daily, trying to piece together her new life. She was thriving, of course. Her gallery pieces were praised in articles with words like raw, fearless, uncompromising. People called her a visionary. None of them knew the truth. They didn't know she had built her best work by tearing me apart. They didn't know the man in those paintings had quietly funded her art supplies for months, thinking he was investing in their shared future, not being replaced in brushstrokes. I began therapy, not because I was weak, but because I was tired of carrying silence. My therapist told me something I've never forgotten. Some people don't break you directly. They simply hold the mirror while you do it to yourself. I let her reflection blind me. I let her turn red flags into romantic quirks. But that doesn't make it my fault. Still, I had to forgive myself before I could move on. One night, I received a letter, handwritten, no return address. But I knew the handwriting. "I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I had to try. I loved you, in my own way. But it was a selfish kind of love, the kind that feeds on being adored, not on giving it back." Luca left. Turns out, passion without respect is a short flame. You didn't deserve what I did to you. I hope one day you'll create something beautiful from what I broke. I'm sorry. Hey, I read it once. Then I folded it, tucked it into a book we used to read together, and placed it on the highest shelf. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Epilogue, rebuild. Time passed. Not quickly, not smoothly, but steadily. I moved to a new apartment, took on bigger projects, rebuilt my name and reputation brick by brick. The cracks remained, but they made me more intentional, more careful. Not colder, just wiser. Eventually, I met someone else. Someone who didn't try to mystify love or turn intimacy into theater. She laughed with her whole body, listened without pretense, and asked real questions. We started slow. I was hesitant at first, but honesty built trust where drama never could. One evening, I showed her the mural in the pantry, still untouched. "This was from before," I said. She studied it quietly, then looked at me. "You should keep it," she said. "Not as a scar, as a reminder that you grew past it." I smiled. That night, I finally painted over it, but I didn't cover it completely. I added to it. My own brushstrokes, my own colors. A collaboration with the past, not an erasure of it. Some stories don't end with revenge, or dramatic closure, or grand apologies. Sometimes, they just end. And from that end, something real can finally begin.